Hi everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. I need an apron because I can be very messy in the kitchen. So aprons are a good thing in the kitchen, in the garden, around the homestead. It's always a good thing. Today we are making blueberry jelly. It is blueberry season here in Michigan for us, and my daughter and I went blueberry picking the other day. So I need to get these blueberries preserved in a way that we can enjoy them all year long. And blueberry jelly is so good. It's easy to make, and I'm gonna show you the process today. I haven't bought jelly at a grocery store in a long time. And so I don't really know the cost, but I do know that they are expensive. All you're gonna need is some fresh blueberries, but I do think you can make this recipe with frozen blueberries, and I'll show you how I do it. It's a little bit different than most traditional recipes, but it's super easy. You're also gonna need a box of Sure Gel. You can use any type of pectin. This is a powdered pectin, and it is a full sugar pectin. My blueberries this year seem to be a little bit on the sour side, so I'm gonna add all the sugar. There is a reduced sugar pectin that you can purchase from Sure Gel. I didn't have any. I looked for some in my canning supplies, but I must be all out. So full sugar it is. This recipe is pretty much blueberry juice, sugar, and pectin. Easy as that. The first thing I'm going to be doing is juicing my blueberries. And if you've never heard of juicing your fruit, it's so easy. I'll show you my setup. I've had this for several years now, and I love making juice this way. It's so easy, and I feel like it takes the step out of mashing and straining with a cheesecloth. You're not gonna need any of that. My juicer comes with 3 parts. So this is the bottom, which I already have full of water, and I'm gonna actually turn the burner on to get this water heating, because we want that to come to a boil. The next part that I have is kind of like this funnel. It has a hole here in the middle, and it has a hose that comes out the bottom. And that goes on top of this water reservoir. So what happens is the steam, once this water starts boiling, the steam is gonna come up through this, and this part here is the colander. So this is what you put your fruit in. This steam that is coming up through here is gonna steam into this basket, which has your fruit in it, and it's going to cook your fruit. And it's going to allow your fruit to start releasing its liquids. It's very easy to use. This hose comes with a clamp because, let me show you. As soon as juice reaches the level of where that hose is, I don't know if you can see that, though the juice is gonna start flowing out of here. So to stop that, we have a hose clamp of sorts, and we just clamp it. Just like that. I just let this hang down, make sure it doesn't come in contact with your heat source. I have my fruit, my blueberries, which picking was really easy because they were big blueberries. They just seem to be a little bit sour this year. I have 8 cups, and honestly I have no idea how many cups of blueberries it's gonna take for me to get the amount of juice that I need. For this jelly recipe, I need 4 cups of blueberry juice. I'm gonna put the lid on this so we can start this cooking process. Now's the time that I get ready for everything else while that is cooking. One of those things is washing my jelly jars and sterilizing them. I'm gonna wash them in really hot water, and I'm gonna place them in my hot oven. You can also boil them for 10 minutes. Also, most dishwashers have a sterilized setting where you can sterilize the jars just in your dishwasher. But my dishwasher takes a really long time, and I think it's like 3 hours. And I can do this in a few minutes, so I don't use the dishwasher for this process. All right, I can hear that my water is boiling, and I can actually see steam coming out of these vent holes. And you can see they're hot. They're already starting to break their skins. This process is coming along fairly quickly. You can see that these are all mushed. I don't usually stir it. You don't really need to. There's the juice. See that? Okay, I think it might be to the point where we can start emptying it, but I'm gonna give it just a few more minutes. Okay, I think these blueberries are all done. I do believe that there's not much more juice inside of them, so I'm gonna shut the heat off. And now we're gonna release the juice, and to do that, we're just going to pour it out of this hose I have. Okay, so I'm looking for 4 cups. Let's see where we're at. We're at 3 cups. Oh goodness. There's a little bit more here in the bottom, so I'm just gonna pour that in. Yum. Smell is so good. All right, we're at 4 cups. Awesome. Okay, I have my 4 cups of blueberry juice here in my big stock pot. I'm gonna turn the heat on here. And to this, we want to add our pectin. So I am using the powdered pectin. If you want to use a liquid pectin, I believe it's 2 pouches. I've never used liquid pectin to know, but I do believe that is the same equivalent. I'm going to add a little bit of butter. You need about half a teaspoon of butter, because if you look, let me bring you in here. You see all this foam? The butter, when you put a little bit of butter in that will take care of the foaming issues. So I have a little bit of butter here. I'm just going to put right in there. We're going to bring this to a rolling boil before we add our sugar. So we've got the pectin in here. We've got our butter and our juice. I have my water bath canner here. It's filled with enough water to cover my half pint size jars, at least an inch over the tops of them. Okay, we are at a rolling boil here. You see how it keeps boiling as you stir it. I don't know if you can see it with the steam and everything, but it's still boiling. So at this point, we're going to add the sugar. Okay, here's my sugar, and I'm going to put it right into this boiling mixture. All the sugar goes right in. I'm going to stir this up, and we're going to bring this back to a rolling boil, and we're going to let it boil for 1 minute. We are at a rolling boil, and I have my timer set for 1 minute. We're just going to keep stirring it and let it boil for 1 full minute. Alright, after 1 minute, we shut this off. Let that simmer down for a little bit. Alright, I'm going to move the pan over to this side. This is my smallest burner. So I had to move it over here because otherwise it was going to take forever to get to a rolling boil. I like to work off this direction. It just works best for me. I don't have any foam here to take off, but if you do, you can just take a metal spoon and skim it off and discard that or eat it. Another thing, if you want to check to see if the jam is going to set, I got a trick for you. I've had this spoon in the freezer since I started, and I'm going to dip the back of the spoon into the jelly. We're going to see what it does. Let it cool off here a second. And if it thickens, like it just did, I don't know if you can see this in a video, but I'll scrape it and you can see it's thick. And it's really good. So that means we can ladle. It's really good. Man, that is good. All right, we're gonna get this ladled into our hot jars. We're gonna leave a 1/4 inch of headspace. about right there. Okay, now we need to take a damp paper towel or rag and make sure there's no jelly on the rims of these jars, because if there's any jelly, then it won't properly seal. Now we put the lids on. And the rings. We're gonna finger tight only. We're gonna lower this right into our water and make sure that it has at least an inch of water covering the tops of the jars. And turn our burner up. Cover this, and we're gonna bring this to a rolling boil and then set our timer for 5 minutes. For jellies, it's only 5 minutes, so it goes pretty quickly. All right, my 5-minute timer just went off, so we're going to remove the jars. Be very careful, always opening your lid away from you so you don't get burnt by the steam. Then we'll just lift the rack out. Okay, we're going to just leave these set for 24 hours before I take the rings off and wash the jars and label them. But after that, these will be shelf stable for a very long time.